Welcome to 10 amazing war games. If you're anything like me and you watch the History Channel growing up and really enjoy like those World War II documentaries, then you're really going to enjoy these war games that I have on this list. The first one we're going to talk about are the Combat Mission World War II games. Let's dive into them. The benefit of picking up any combat mission game or diving into the series is being able to play on the front that you really want to play on. If you want to play on the Eastern Front, you can play Combat Mission Red Thunder. If you really want to explore that Italy front, then you can play Combat Mission Fortress Italy. And if you're anything like me and you really enjoy the Western Front, then you have Combat Mission Battle for Normandy and Combat Mission Final Blitzkrieg. Each combat mission is like an improved iteration on the one that came before it. They each have different mechanics. So Combat Mission Final Blitzkrieg and Red Thunder allow you to ride on tanks, whereas Combat Mission Battle for Normandy and Southern and Fortress Italy, you don't have those options. I wouldn't stress too much about those missing features though, because a lot of people really enjoy Combat Mission if they pick it up and they really develop a love for it. And what happens is they start to buy all the combat missions over time because they just enjoy the main core gameplay, they enjoy the tactical aspects of it, the immersion it brings, and overall the realism and authenticity. So if you get a little tired of the Western Front, you can always pick up Combat Mission Red Thunder and dive into the Eastern Front, or even dive into Fortress Italy and explore the Italian Front. Overall, Combat Mission is a ton of fun to play. There's so much to be had. Don't stress out about those missing features because if you truly love the game series, then you're going to end up picking up another game within it. And the best part about Combat Mission is it's not strictly World War II. The biggest thing people struggle with when diving into Combat Mission is trying to figure out which game to buy. And that's one of the things that makes Combat Mission so unique, so fun, and so immersive is figuring out which game to buy because there's so many fronts for you to explore as a player. There's so much innovation within the game. There's so many tactical battlefields to kind of explore and dive into. And there's so many different types of weapon systems. While this video is mainly focused on World War II, if you were to dive into the Cold War series of Combat Mission, you gain access to tons of helicopters, different types of ERA, and also cluster munitions. And then if you dive a bit further into the future, such as Black Sea or Shock Force 2, then you'll get access to laser-guided munitions and different types of M1A1 tanks. Overall, Combat Mission is just one of those games that just keeps on giving. And if you're excited to check it out, or just check out any World War II games in general, then check out Combat Mission. The way to play Combat Mission can either be real-time or it can be played as a We Go experience. So that means you could just take 60-second turns. Once those turns you can complete, you can rewatch them, or you can just keep pressing on. You can plan out your moves, move all your units across the battlefield. It's one of those unique experiences that you don't see in a lot of war games. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, the realistic ballistics, the actual physics, the immersive gameplay, and the attention to detail and the amount of research the developers have done to really bring this series to life is something that cannot be boasted about enough. Overall, if you enjoy World War II, check out Combat Mission. Welcome to the only war game that is free to play on this list. This is Command Ops 2, and it's one of those hidden gems a lot of people don't know about. You do need to buy the individual DLCs if you want to explore the different fronts. Overall, Command Ops 2 is a war game engine that lets you assess, plan, order, and react at the operational level. It's so much fun to command large formations without hexes, without a lot of micromanagement going on. It's one of those gems of a war game that often get overlooked, mostly because it looks dated. However, the game is still in continued development, and it's definitely a game you should definitely check out. It has so many different fronts to explore, so much different types of combat and strategies you can employ, and the gameplay takes place over large swaths of time. So we're talking days, hours, days to weeks. It's one of those war games I come back to from time to time, and when I do, I get addicted to it. If you really are just hesitant about entering the war game series, I would suggest Command Ops 2 because of the low entry cost. This is one of the few tactical dogfighting simulators on Steam right now, and it's currently on sale for $26.99. This is Scramble Battle. Scramble is truly a step above other tactical dogfighting simulators. All the subsystems, or at least most of the subsystems, are modeled, which means you'll be destroying fuel tanks, causing fires, destroying radiators, destroying engines, and springing leaks. Overall, if you damage your opponent, you'll make flying much tougher for them. If you really enjoy these tactical dogfighting simulators, Scramble is one for you to pick up. It's one I enjoy playing over and over and over again. It has an addictive gameplay loop, and it's one of those games I struggle to put down once I get addicted to them. Scramble is just one of those better tactical dogfighting sims, and I enjoy so much of it. I like that RAF versus the Luftwaffe. I like that period of war during the 1940s, and the Battle of Britain is something I really want to see explored a bit more. It does come with a campaign. It's in early access. Check it out. Dynamic campaigns are all the rage right now in the wargaming world, and War on the Sea is one of those games that has a dynamic campaign. So if you're looking for that evolving campaign, that's something that's not the same story every time, and if you're looking for some realistic and authentic naval combat, then War on the Sea is for you. It has a beautiful theatrical view, 3D. It has 50 different classes of playable ships, a dynamic campaign, and you're able to control the aircraft as well, which is one of the things I absolutely love to do. I love flying those F4U Corsairs in, dropping torpedoes, dropping bombs, and attempting to sink the ships. The best part about War on the Sea is how they model the subsystems within the ships as well. So you have counter flood compartments, you're able to repair them, and you're able to fight fires too. So while it's not like an intense simulator, it's an absolutely fantastic game to play. And it's one of those games to play I pick up from time to time when I'm really looking for some naval combat and really want to play in the World War II theater. So if you're looking to play in the Southern Pacific or looking for a fun little game to pick up, War on the Sea is definitely for you. If you enjoy that board game-like feel, or if you just enjoy board games in general, then I cannot recommend Second Front enough. It comes with 48 scenarios across all locations of World War II. So if you want to play in the Eastern Front or if you want to play the Western Front, those are your options. And if you really want to play the Commonwealth forces, then Second Front has that for you as well, because they recently released a free DLC called Bully Beef and Biscuits, which includes the Commonwealth forces as well as tons of desert tiles. It is a game that is kept alive by the community as well because it has full Steam Workshop support and it has a super simple to use scenario and map editor. It has a very unique and interesting art styles, and I think that's one of the things that put a lot of eyes on the game to begin with. So if this game looks interesting to you, or if you enjoy this art style, or if you just enjoy board games in general, then I highly recommend Second Front. It is a World War II game, and I heard that it's based in Advanced Squad Leader, or based off of a rule set, or somehow related to it. I've never played Advanced Squad Leader. I've only played Second Front. Overall, the AI is extremely good. The scenarios are turn limited. That can be a bit off-putting for people, but honestly, I really enjoy Second Front, and if I really want to play like a board game but I don't have time to set one up, then this is the game I go to. Headquarters World War II is a different take on that turn-based style. They opted to go for a square instead of a hex, which is a bit interesting, but it does kind of mix up the gameplay enough for me to check it out and recommend it. They did recently release a Market Garden DLC, so if you're really interested in that period of war or that battle, then you need to pick up Headquarters World War II and pick up that DLC as well. But if you've never played it, it's a decent simulator. There's front, top, side armor. There are turn-based scenarios. It's an extremely forgiving war game. It's very, very not extremely casual, but it's a casual enough for anyone to pick up and play. So if you're not really into those hardcore turn-based war games, then I highly suggest Headquarters World War II. The buildings are destructible. The orders of battles are unique. You have tanks, you have troop transports, you have airstrikes, different types of recon vehicles, and all the scenarios are set in fun, unique locations. It's one of those games I do come back to from time to time. So if you want to check it out, I don't care what anyone says. Close Combat The Bloody First is worth playing, and it's a decent attempt at bringing a 2D game into the 3D world. It comes with one grand campaign, 3 theater campaigns, so Tunisia, Sicily, and Normandy, 11 operations, and 36 battles. It has a wealth of content. It retails for $39.99. However, personally, I would pick it up for $20. It does go on sale quite often, so there's really no reason to spend full retail on it. The graphics are decent enough. It has tons of unique gameplay, and it's a lot of fun to play. I believe I said earlier it's like a combat mission light. It's not as authentic as Combat Mission, and it's not as unique, but it does bring a lot of those close combat elements into the 3D world, and I think that's really what causes it to shine. It does what it's trying to do, and I think it got too much flack for doing that. Overall, Combat Mission is one of those games you should check out, especially if you have $20 to burn. This is the most comprehensive war game on the list. This is Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2. It's feature complete and it retails for $79.99, but right now it is on sale for $39.99. It has 3 full map campaigns. We're talking you're controlling basically the entire Eastern Front. They're extremely detailed. They're very well researched. You have land combat, you have air combat, and you have tons of logistics to manage. There's several smaller scale scenarios, such as the Road to Leningrad. Each of these are different scales. They're a lot of fun to play, but the campaigns are what really keep people playing War in the East 2. If you think you can manage it, or if you're up to the challenge, War in the East is by far one of the pinnacles of wargaming, and it's something that a lot of people would like to get good at, but they think it just takes too much time. Overall, the main gameplay is simple, but the game is absolutely massive to learn. Now we're diving into one of the fan favorites. This is always recommended to me, so I'm going to recommend it to you as well. This is Call to Arms Gates of Hell, and it is extremely, extremely fun to play. It's simple to pick up, and it's hard to master. There's so much going on the battlefield. You can loot soldiers, you can control individual units, you can drive tanks, you can just control them as platoons, squads, or groups. It's one of the most fun games I've played in a long time. Like right here where I'm just smoking tanks with this RPG, or these half tracks with this RPG, is so much fun because you're controlling units on a very small scale. Whereas previously we talked about massive fronts on the Eastern Front, this really brings it down to just small battle sizes where you control individual units, or you can control them at the platoon level. And I think that's something that makes this game a bit more unique than the other war games, is that individual troop movement and troop control. Whether you want to dive in and just use one troop and go into first person or third person and just lay waste to the battlefield, that's absolutely something you can do. I know it has a thriving co-op community. I believe there's PvP for it as well, but I have not played the PvP or the co-op at all. I believe it just got a new DLC. It's one of the Airborne front, or the Airborne DLC. Check it out if that's something you want to explore. I can't talk about it enough. Welcome to Graviteam Tactics. This is another Eastern Front simulator. However, it does have a ton of DLCs exploring different fronts on the Eastern Front, as well as different conflicts that take place in the modern era. This is by far one of the games that started this wargaming channel, and it's been going strong for almost 8 years now. So if you really want to check this out, I highly suggest it. It looks very cool. It's extremely detailed. It's one of the more unique games on this list when it comes to controls, troop management, and logistics. And the graphics look so good, especially for how old it is and especially for the size of the development team. But it's one of those games that I just kept coming back to for a long, long time, just due to the graphics, how the battles look, and how they felt. I really enjoy Graviteam Tactics Mius Front, and it's a game I would like to come back to at some point. There's just so many war games out right now, it's just hard to just manage them all. But if you're just looking for a good Eastern Front simulator that looks beautiful, easy to play, and has realistic physics, then you need to pick up Graviteam Tactics. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Share the video, please.